everybody, here we are again for another SPA drama online class.
Woo!
How exciting. Obviously, we wish we could be there at your schools, but because of everything that's going on with COVID-19 at the moment, we have decided to put our classes online.
For those who don't know us,
yes.
My name's Adele and this is...
Jerome. And as you can see, we're not in our normal area at the moment. We have been moved. Our background has changed because we're on the road, actually.
I wanted to visit my parents, so we're actually at my parents' house at the moment.
Oh, here she comes.
Is my mum. Mum, these are all of our students, and all of my students, this is my mum.
Yay. So before we get into today's class, we need to mention that we got some lovely submissions from students out there, and we want to have a special acknowledgement for Fleur, okay, and Amay.
That's right.
You guys are the winners for today's challenge.
You had incredible differentiation between all of the different emotions that you were portraying, jumping around at those different levels.
And as well, to Amay, we really noticed your specificity in terms of the levels of volume. I could really see you thinking when you were going from between a 1 and a 5. It was really, really impressive. Okay, so what's going on today, Adele?
Well, so today we're going to look at two really famous characters from Commedia dell'arte.
Hey, Mambo Italiano.
Before I tell you any more exciting and interesting information about them, there is a very important element of Commedia dell'arte that we haven't spoken about.
I've not touched this yet. What is it, Adele? Wait for drum roll.
Masks! That's right. In Commedia dell'arte, almost all of the characters would always wear masks. Now, can anyone think why the actors would have worn masks in their performance?
Adele, does that have something to do with the same reason that they did Gromelot? The reason they spoke Gromelot and had really big physical body language.
That is exactly right. You remember last week we spoke a little bit about all of the different challenges about performing outside, how hard it would be to hear.
I can't hear you!
Or how you have to use big body language to make sure the audience at the back can see what you're doing.
Because remember, Commedia performers were often on the road, just like we are. So they'd be going from town to town and performing the shows outdoors.
So that's why they would wear masks, so that an audience member who's sitting all the way at the back of a field would be able to see these really, really big, exaggerated shapes, noses, foreheads, bushy eyebrows, and they would be able to recognize immediately, oh, that's that character.
Exactly. So you had the big physical body language, you had the big of the Gromelot, and then you had even bigger facial masks. So it didn't matter where you were sitting in the audience, you knew exactly what you were watching.
Yeah, and that's why Commedia dell'arte is so much fun.
And so popular.
Let's introduce you to the first of our Commedia dell'arte characters.
Patalone.
Now, Patalone is one of the old men in the stories. He's got lots of wrinkles. Sometimes he even uses a cane to walk. He's a merchant, a really wealthy businessman, and his greatest love is money.
And the love he has for money you can see in his face, because what they did with this character, they made sure he always had a really long nose. It was like a sticky beak that he could poke into other people's business. He was always looking for money.
Sniff out that next little bit of money.
Sniff out the next bit of money.
Where can I find my money?
Exactly. And there was another part of him, it always looked like he was grumpy or sour. He always looked like he just sucked on a lemon.
All this talk has made me hungry.
This was also because he loved money and he never had enough.
And that could sometimes make this character a little bit of a meanie. Now, I want to have fun and turn Jerome into Patalone. And in order to do that, we're going to go to a sculpture garden. Jerome is going to be like my piece of human clay, and I am going to mold him into Patalone. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Here we are in the sculpture garden. And here is my perfectly formed piece of model clay. Now, I'm going to turn the... Oh, guys. This piece of clay, there is so much fun that I could have Ooh, no, I take it back. That is gross. Okay, I'm going to turn this piece of clay into Pantalone. Now, in order to do that, I want to bring up that little picture of the mask again so we can get the clues for what this character might look like. Now, as I'm moving this piece of clay, why don't you guys jump up and do it with me? So we can see there's lots of wrinkles and those white bushy eyebrows. The first thing we want to do is we want to get that old sort of body. So, like what I'm doing, take your finger, put it on your own belly button, but I'm going to do this one to this piece of clay. Push in from the belly button. You see how that rounds the back? Keep going, keep going, keep going. We get that really old bent back figure. And then take your hand, like I'm taking this clay hand, pop it on your back. It's like, oh, old people always have a bad back. And in fact, it almost, if we were to take the other hand and put it there too, we're almost creating a little bit of a chicken-like bird sort of thing, which goes perfectly with the other element of the mask, that big hooked nose. So we want to make sure you stick your chin out so you can imagine you've got that mask on, that big hooked nose, always like Pantalone, sniffing for that next little bit of money or sticking your nose into someone else's business. The final piece of the puzzle, see how the mask always makes Pantalone look a bit grumpy, like he always needs something. He needs more money. So imagine that you've just sucked on a really sour piece of lemon. Give me a sour face. Oh, perfect. So now we have here our perfect Pantalone, and I hope you guys are doing it at home too. Next thing I want to do is when I want to bring you guys to life. So when I clap, I want you guys to start speaking Pantalone Grommelot. Ready? Go. Freeze. Amazing. So now we've got the Grommelot happening. I hope you're practicing it at home as well. Next thing I want to do is bring life not just to the voice, but also to the body. So remember, big level 5 Commedia dell'arte bodies in our old grumpy Pantalone body. Okay, ready? Go! Oh my goodness, that worked a little bit too well. So now we've got our Pantalone bodies. We've worked in our Pantalone Grommelot. The next thing I want to do is actually see Pantalone in a little scene. So in order to do that, I got to get rid of this one. Ready? Okay, so now that he's gone and out of the way, I can tell you what we're going to do. This game is called What Would Happen If? So I've banished Pantalone, I've sent him back to his house, and what would happen if we visited Pantalone's house and we saw Pantalone find an entire box of the thing he loves most, money? You ready for this? Okay, here we are in Pantalone's house. What would happen if Pantalone discovered an entire box of money? Ooh, I can't wait to find out. Here he comes. Shh. How good was that? So now we know how Pantalone would behave if he found a box of money. What would happen if Pantalone lost his box of money? Rewind. Okay, so now we're going to imagine what would happen if this was Pantalone's house, if this was Pantalone's money, but I take it all. Here he comes. Freeze! That was fantastic. That was a very, very good Pantalone. I feel like I want Jerome back now, though, not this grumpy Pantalone. So, back to the couch.
Well, that was awesome.
That was so much fun. Jerome, you did a fantastic job.
Thank
Did
you.
you notice all those little moments of specificity that he had in that storytelling? Incredible body language.
It's important to remember that Patalone, yes, he is a silly character,
So
and it's
silly.
very easy to go very crazy with him, but we still need to remember those elements of specificity. Okay, making sure that I'm staying old, staying grumpy, staying sour, staying in my body position.
And using the Grommelot to show us what it is the character is feeling.
Now we're going to have a look at the character of Il Dottore.
Ooh, Il Dottore.
So Il Dottore was another master, okay? We had the two masters, Patalone and Il Dottore, okay? But Il Dottore was a little bit different to Patalone, okay? Il Dottore was a doctor. Il Dottore basically means the doctor, okay? And he was very, very fat, okay? He was a big, fat man, and he had big, rosy cheeks
Yes.
because he was always
Eating dessert, lots of ice cream.
and sweet foods, and he was not a healthy man.
No.
He was also famous for having ideas. He always thought he knew the best, okay?
He is a bit of a know-it-all.
Is that teacher from school that always thinks he knows best and walks around and always has his nose up
Children these days.
Exactly. He was a hilarious character, and what we're going to do now is going to head back to the sculpture garden, and now I'm going to turn Adele into some human clay, and we're going to build us our very own Il Dottore.
Oh no,
Okay, here we are back in the sculpture garden. Now we're going to build Il Dottore. Awesome. Now, everything I do with Adele, my human clay here, I want you guys to do at home as well. So make sure you're up on your feet and having a look at what I'm doing. Okay, so first, we're going to get the picture of that mask up here on the screen. Great. Okay, so if you can have a look at the mask, we can see that from this mask, Il Dottore is a big old fatty. He's got these big cheeks. He's got a really big round forehead. So how can we create fat with this beautiful human clay? What we're going to do is we're going to push our hips forward like this and our bellies out. For a little bit of extra fun though, I'm going to get you guys to grab a pillow, and you can do the good old fashioned trick. Tuck your shirt into your pants so you've got a big old fat belly. Okay, back to clay please, Adele. Great. Now, the next thing about Il Dottore is that he had those big rosy cheeks, those big saggy cheeks from eating all those sweet desserts. So I want you to do that with your face. So what I'm going to imagine is that there's a big weight hanging down on either side of your cheek, and almost like your mouth almost sits open because of the heaviness of the weights. Okay? Now the third part about Il Dottore is that he's always got something to say. He's always being a know-it-all. Okay? So with our bodies, the way we can show that is we can be a finger waver. Somebody who's always making a point. So one hand in the air, the other hand on the belly, fantastic. Okay? And now, with a little bit of Grommelot, let's see how Il Dottore sounds. Freeze. Great, so you can hear the kind of stuck up, fat voice that comes out of the statue. Now I want to see a little bit of Il Dottore's movements as well as the Grommelot. Okay, so those big bits of physicality along with the Grommelot. Here we go. Great. Okay, so as you can see, she's always making ideas. She's always running around with a new thought in her head, but she's having to move around with that big, fat body. This is one of the first famous big, fat, rich man characters. She's doing a really good job. but I want to see what it's like when she's in a certain situation. So I'm going to send her away. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and pretend that we are in Il Dottore's house. And imagine what would happen if Il Dottore came downstairs and discovered a juicy apple sitting on one of his chairs. Let's go have a look. Okay, here we are in Il Dottore's house. What would happen if Il Dottore came down the stairs and saw a juicy green apple sitting on his chair? Oh, here he comes. Let's have a watch. Shh. Freeze. Fantastic, wasn't that awesome? You can see how different Il Dottore is from Patalone, okay? Even though they both want something, it's completely different in Il Dottore. Now, we're gonna see what would happen if Il Dottore lost this wonderful apple. Rewind. So, this is Il Dottore's favorite apple. Let's see what happens. Freeze. See how different that was? It was still Grommelot, but it was a completely different version of Grommelot. Great, I think I want Adele back now. Let's head back to the couch. Fantastic job, Adele.
Oh, that was so much fun, guys.
I love these characters so much.
So Il Dottore, playing Il Dottore, you would have seen that I had a very different type of body language and energy and the different sound of my Grommelot in compared to Jerome's for Patalone.
Which is really important because both of these characters are old men and both of these characters really, really want something.
That's
Patalone
right.
wanting money, Il Dottore wanting food. Exactly, but we need to make sure that even though they want the same thing and even though they're both grumpy old men, that we can see their difference in our specificity.
That's right.
In the way that we play those unique character traits.
So the next thing that we want to do is we want to see these two characters, Patalone and Il Dottore, in a little scenario together.
Yes, we want to see them interacting with one another.
Il Dottore secretly thinks he is way better than Patalone.
And Patalone secretly thinks that he's way better than Il Dottore.
Okay, let's see these two guys interact in a little scenario.
We're going to imagine what would happen if Il Dottore and Patalone stumbled upon an apple that cost $5. Il Dottore really want this apple, where Patalone, he's going to want to keep his $5, isn't he? Okay, so let's see how this plays out.
Alright. Pantalone! I see you fall. Oh, no!
Il Dottore! No!
Pantalone! I'll cut your feet. I see you.
No, il Dottore! No, vai da qui! Monna, tu che tira, vai! Il Dottore! No!
Pantalone!
Il Dottore!
No, creepy! Patalone and Il Dottore.
Oh, that was hilarious. You cannot put those two characters in the same room together.
So thanks so much for watching us and joining us for class today, guys. We've had a lot of fun. Hope you have too. And we want to set some challenges for you to do before the next class.
So it's up to you guys. The choices of challenges you have is you can either show yourself as Pantalone in either of those two situations that we showed.
Either finding money or losing money. How would Pantalone respond?
Or you can be Il Dottore, either finding food or losing food.
How would Il Dottore respond?
Or if you have a sibling, or if you want to do it with one of your parents, you can be both Pantalone and Il Dottore in that last scenario where they both found that apple that cost $5.
Yeah, that's right. So you can film yourself doing any one or any combination of those different things, and we cannot wait to see what you have to offer.
And just a little bit of housekeeping, guys. We normally do these videos, for parents out there, we normally do these videos on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So if you guys could get your kids' videos in before the Tuesday, that gives us our best chance to mention them on the video.
Yeah. All right, guys, stay safe and we'll see you soon.
Oh, what are we doing next week?
Oh, next week. So this week we did 2 masters. Next week we're going to do 2 servants.
Top and the bottom.
Of the food chain.
Here we go, very exciting.
All right, guys.
Bye.